Good evening and welcome to this webinar on data driven decision making, which the future of work by Dr. Pradeep. So, before we get started with the session, I would like to remind everyone that this is a recorded session and also you can avail this recording. We will be sharing you a Google form. So please do fill in the Google form so that we get to know the feedback about this session, as well as if you wish to avail the recorded session of this, we can reach out to you via the Google form. So once again, welcome to this webinar. And before I transfer it to Dr. Pradeep, I would like to give a small introduction about him. Dr. Pradeep is a seasoned professional with 20 years of extensive experience in capacity building, project management, marketing, and strategic management. As the Assistant Vice President at Nest Technologies, he is widely recognized for his exceptional ability to transform underperforming organizations into highly efficient, top performing teams. Renowned as hands on change agent, Dr. Pradeep has earned the trust of corporate and government clients alike through his proven track record of success. A dynamic communicator and inspiring leader, he specializes in designing and managing training and development programs that emphasize a stakeholder centric and a client focused approach, driving sustainable growth and excellence across diverse domains. So, with this, let's get started with our webinar. I'll be making Dr. Pradeep as the host now, and I take this opportunity also to welcome everyone into this webinar. Dr. Pradeep, you're the host now.
Yeah. Thanks, Renu, for the wonderful introduction. And good afternoon, good evening, or good morning, okay, to whatever location you are from. So very happy to see you, okay, and very happy to know that, okay, you are eager to understand a very important topic called data-driven decision making. So I have a couple of suggestions from my side. So I just want to make it a little bit interactive so that I may ask you questions. Okay, I just would like to have some kind of responses. So basically, I'm working in an IT company. If you want to be very competitive in any kind of business, okay, so you need to be the competitive advantage will come from understanding our latest technologies. So data is everywhere, and data is very critical for sustainable and getting a competitive advantage of any organization. So my session, okay, this will be covering around 40 to 50 minutes. Okay, we will have few case studies and a few exercises. Okay. So in between, if you have any questions, okay, please feel free to stop me and maybe I'll be able to explore or discuss further. So let me share the screen. So hope you can see the screen, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, thanks. So let me start with a very simple question. Okay, in life we have to take a lot of decisions, right? So decision can be divided into two kinds of decision making. So one is called rational decision making, where we analyze things. Okay, we evaluate different alternatives and come to a conclusion. Now there's something called emotional decision making. So what is emotional decision making? So we may take decisions based on some emotions, or we may take decisions without thinking through the lot of data, thinking through a lot of analysis. So when it comes to our very important and very critical decision making, so can you just tell me, okay, so what kind of decision we do take normally? Okay, which kind of decision we usually takes, whether it is an emotional or rational. You can actually take your maybe chat and put your thought process, whether it is a rational or whether it is an emotional. What kind of decision we do take generally, especially when it comes to the critical decision making. Yeah, I can see some. Yeah, both depends on the scenario. Very good. Maybe critical decisions like purchasing a home, okay, or the marriage, or joining a new job. So what do you think? I see one response. Okay, maybe I just want to have response from others also. So as I said earlier, okay, we will have few activities and engagement whether we can explore and we can learn from each other. So how about others? Can I get some response? Emotional. Yeah, Fatima, thanks for the response. It is emotional. Okay.
I think for me, it's mostly emotional.
Emotional decision. Okay. So Vasudevan said that rational in office, emotional in home. Okay. Yeah, very good answer. Excellent. Good. Good. So I'm getting a lot of response. I will park this question. Maybe I'll just try to answer this question. Maybe through I just want to expose you to some facts. So our brain, okay, we do process information, or we do get information through five senses. Like, so one is visual, one is auditory, one is kinesthetic, one olfactory, and gustatory. Okay, so that means the touch. So we receive information through eyes, okay, through ears, okay, through the touch, through the smell, okay, and through the touch also. Now, when we receive the information, okay, in our brain, there is something called filters. Are there? You know what do you mean filters? Because, for example, if you're making a tea, okay, there's something called filters. So that will filter out certain materials like tea powder or other ingredients, right? Okay. So there are three kinds of filters. One is deletion, distortion, and generalization. Okay, I'll just explain this. So before that, I will just want to show a small video. Okay. Now, this is a small activity for you. We do have some activities. So the background, the context of this video is in this video there are two teams are there. Okay, so one team is having a black dress and another team is having a white dress. Now this is a test. This is a test to check your concentration. Okay, and what your task is to identify how many passes are made within the white team. So let me repeat the instruction. So the objective of this particular test is to check your concentration, and there are two teams are there. So one team is having a white dress and another team is having a black dress. So the objective is to find out how many passes are made within the white team. So the challenge is you will have few seconds, maybe around 20 to 23 seconds to count the passes made within the white team. So are you clear with the instruction? So should I repeat again? Are you clear? Yeah, thanks. Thanks, Vikram, for your response. So let me show the video. So I'm going to show this video. So your task is to identify how many passes are made within the white team.
This is an awareness test. How many passes does the team in white make?
Go!
Okay. Now, a question to you. So, will you be able to count the passes? If you're able to count the passes, please put on the chat how many passes you have identified. You can put on the chat how many passes you have identified. Okay, somewhat up to 12. Okay, very good, Sriharan. Thanks for the response. How about others? Yeah, 10 to 11, Fatima. Okay, 11, 12. Thanks, Premier. Thanks, Anaka. Okay, thanks for the response. Now, the right answer is 13. Okay, and I think most of you are close to that particular the actual number. So that shows you have a lot of concentration. But let me ask you one question. Okay, so when these teams were passing ball with each other, okay, there was one guy who was wearing a dress of a black bear and who was doing a moonwalk, okay, between these people. So how many of you seen that person who was wearing a black dress and doing a moonwalk like Michael Jackson? How many of you seen that? Anybody seen? If you're able to seeing that person, please say yes. Otherwise, no. No. Okay, thanks for the response. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show this video once again. You try to identify a person who is wearing a dress of a black bear.
The answer is 13. But did you see the moonwalking bear?
Go!
person, the black bear. So my question to you, okay, so why you miss that particular person in the first stage? So what was the reason where you missed that person?
Because we're simply focusing on the white tea peoples.
Yeah. So in psychology, there is a concept called selective perception. Okay, what do you mean by selective perception? We can see only what we want to see. Okay. So since I asked you to focus on the white team, okay, you ignore the other very critical but an important information also. Okay. So this is normally happens with the human beings. Okay, we delete other information which we are not interested, right? But when it comes to an organization, okay, there are different kinds of data, and we cannot ignore these kinds of data, these kinds of information. So this is a brain trick. Now let us talk about one more brain trick. So let me take the screen. I'm going to show you one picture. You need to quickly tell me what is that picture. Yeah. So before that, yeah. So this is the picture. I mean, I'm going to show you 3 lines. You need to quickly tell me which line is the lengthier line, which line is the longer line. First one, second one, third one. Okay. Now, can you put on your response? Second, good. Thanks, Lakshmi Narayan. Second, I think same length. Okay. Thanks for the response. Now, in fact, all the length of all the line are same. Okay. So this is another brain trick which try to distort information. Okay. So we feel that okay, the information is right, but our brain try to distort information. Now I'm going to show you another picture. It's actually it can be a little bit like a geometric structure. You need to tell me what kind of geometric structure is that. Okay. I'm going to show you another slide. So you need to quickly observe that, and you need to tell me what kind of geometric construction is that. Okay, so what is this? Cube, square, cube, cube, pentacle. Okay, good. Oh, thanks for the response. Now just try to see this picture once again. Is it a cube, or is it a pentagon? Is it a square, or is it something else? This is not a cube, right? It is a series of lines. It is not connected with each other. But most of you have said that it is a cube or a square. So why your brain was interpreting like that? So this is another filter in our brain. Okay, we try to generalize things. Okay, so based on quick information, quick data, we try to generalize things. So people said that all the politicians are corrected. Okay, so these are some generalization we generally make. So these are the 3 filters. Okay, so one is deletion. Okay, so we try to delete certain information. One is distorting the information, and one is generalizing information. So these are the few brain tricks play on us. So there are few other things are there. For example, you might have seen again there is something called angering effect. Okay, so when the people are actually promoting their products, okay, normally they say that okay, this is the actual price and that been cut short to for $500. Okay, so people perceive more value for the price, okay, than the price aid. So this is called angering effect. So there are a lot of biases are there, okay, which will actually distort our judgment. Okay. Now, let me give another exercise. So this is a very simple exercise. You can see a bat and ball cost $1.10. The bat cost $1 more than the ball. How much does the bat cost? Can you quickly tell me, okay, what is the figure, okay? What is the answer? You can put on the chat. A bat and ball cost $1.10. The bat cost $1 more than the ball. Okay, how much does the bat cost? $1. Okay, good. How about others? $1. Okay. Thanks, Anaka. I'm looking for response from others also. So it is not $1. Okay. It is actually 0.05 cents. For example, x plus y is 1.1, x minus y is 1. Okay. So, it's actually basic mathematics. However, what happened is there is a bias called representative heuristics. So we often make judgments something closely, which is closely something on some fixed stereotype, rather than considering more objective and statistical information. Okay. Now, what I want to say is there is a famous book called Fast and Slow Thinking. This book is written by a person called Daniel Hoffman. Okay. Now, he is basically a psychologist. However, he did a research on something called behavioral finance. Okay. And he got a Nobel Prize also. So this is one of the most extensive study conducted on an area called behavioral finance. Okay. And he does not have any background in economics. So his research was, okay, how our psychology plays a make, or how our mind play tricks on making a very important decision making in our life, especially like areas like investment. So he come out with a theory called system one thinking and system two thinking. So what do you mean by system one thinking? It is a quick, intuitive, practical, automatic and emotional. Okay. So we don't process information in detail. Okay. We take a quick decisions. Okay. It is more like an intuitive decision. What is system two? It is more rational, logical, deductive, and structured thinking. And I suggest you to read this book. This is a beautiful book. This will actually change your paradigm, okay, how we think or how we take the decision making. So he actually argues that most of the decision, especially critical decision and investment decision, okay, people tend to have a system one thinking. Okay. However, there are a lot of people who goes to a system two thinking also. Now, when it comes to managing an organization, okay, we of course we need to be intuitive, okay, but sometimes the emotional decision making can actually have a lot of impact on us. Okay, so it may not leads to the competitiveness of an organization. So when it comes to decision making in an organization where it involves money, cost, human resource, and everything, we need to have a logical, deductive, and structured kind of thinking. So, so knowing our brain might use us to better investors. That is what the main crux of that particular book. Okay. So human psychology have a big impact on investing. Okay. We do make a lot of cognitive errors on routine basis by rules of thumb and oversimplifications. Okay. He said that these are the different bias like self-deception, simplification, and solution. Okay. Now, the reason I started with these activities is, okay, now our brain have maybe divided into three important segments. One is a brain stem, which is called a reptilian brain, which is trying to handle the fight or flight function. Okay, limbic brain, which talks or manages the emotional parts of the brain. Neocortex is the highest level of brain, okay, where we can apply the creativity, logical thinking. So sometimes our thinking may focus, or our focus of thinking may be confined to only the brainstem and limbic things. Okay, we need to move above from a limbic system to a neocortex thinking. So that lies actually a thinking, problem solving, and a learning function. Okay. So that leads to a very important question: why to be data driven? Okay, so data is very data nowadays. Data is everywhere. Data is being produced in terabytes in every milliseconds. So why needs to be very data? So before starting about talking about big companies like Amazon and Netflix, okay, where they become highly competitive because they leverage on the data. I want to share a small story. Okay, this is a real story which happened in our India, and this story is all about a auto driver. Okay, so let us learn from an auto driver. Okay, how he actually understand the data, how he changes his strategy so that he is a very competitive person in the very competitive field of in autos, right? There are a lot of competition, okay, because everybody is vying to get it right. So this person is called Annaduri. He is from Chennai. Okay, he makes lakhs of rupees by using an auto rickshaw. So how he makes lakhs of rupees by riding in an auto rickshaw? Okay. So I want to share a small video. You can observe this video and try to share your learnings. Okay, what are your learnings from this particular video?
ஒரு ஜாப்க்கு தான் போயிட்டு இருந்தேன் முதல்ல. திடீர்னு ஒரு நாள் எங்கள் அண்ணன் லீவ் போட்டார். அப்போ நான் எடுத்து ரன் பண்ண ஆரம்பித்தேன். இன்கம் வர மாதிரி தெரிஞ்சுது. ஸோ இந்த காசுக்காக நம்ம இன்னொருத்தவங்ககிட்ட போயிட்டு ரொம்ப நேரம் ஒரு 8 hours அவங்க கூட ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ணுற மாதிரியான இருக்கு. ஸோ செல்ஃப் எம்ப்ளாயாக இருக்கிறது நிறைய சாட்டிஸ்ஃபேக்ஷனான விஷயங்களை நான் ரியலைஸ் பண்ணேன்.
கஸ்டமர்ஸ் தான் கடவுள் அப்படின்ற ஒரு காரணத்தினால அவங்க ஒரு 10 minutes 20 minutes 30 minutes தான் என்னோட ஆட்டோவில் ட்ராவல் பண்ணுவாங்க. ஸோ இந்த ட்ராவல் டைமிங்கில் அவங்களுக்கு என்ன மாதிரியான விஷயங்கள் கொடுக்கலாம் வித்தியாசமாக அப்படின்னு தேடினேன். ஒரு 8 newspaper, 35 magazines, டேப்லெட், ஐபேட், லேப்டாப், டிவி, கான்டெஸ்ட், டோக்கன், இந்த மாதிரி நிறைய விஷயங்கள் வண்டிக்குள்ள இருக்கு. கஸ்டமர்ஸ் எல்லாருக்குமே செயின் ப்ராப்ளம் இருந்துச்சு. ஸோ அதனால் ஸ்வைப்பிங் மிஷின் கொண்டு வரலாம் அப்படின்னு நினச்சேன். ஸோ இதன் மூலிமா என்னோட ஒரு மணி கூட சின்ன மணி கூட கவர்மெண்ட்டுக்கு போகுது அப்படின்றதுல நான் ரொம்ப ப்ரௌடாக ஃபீல் பண்ணுறேன். மந்த்லி ஒரு 9,000 rupees என்னோட கஸ்டமர்ஸ்க்காக ஸ்பெண்ட் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன். ஸோ என்னோட இன்கம் இன்க்ரீஸ் ஆகணும் அப்படின்றதுக்காக நான் இதெல்லாம் பண்ணல. அவங்கள சாட்டிஸ்ஃபேக்ஷன் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்ற ஒரு காரணத்தினால தான் பண்ணேன். இதன் மூலயமா என்னோட இன்கம் டபுள் ஆயிருக்கு. முன்னாடிலாம் கஸ்டமர்ஸ்க்காக நான் வெயிட் பண்ணிட்டு இருப்பேன். இப்போ கஸ்டமர்ஸ் எனக்காக வெயிட் பண்ண ஆரம்பிச்சிருக்காங்க. டெக்னாலஜி எவ்வளோதான் வளர்ந்தாலும் ஹியூமன் எலிமெண்ட்டை யாராலையும் ஜெயிக்க முடியாது. அதனால தான் என்னோட கஸ்டமர்ஸ் கிட்ட நான் ரொம்ப ஃப்ரெண்ட்லியாக இருக்கேன். ஸோ அவங்க எவ்வளோ டென்ஷனோட என் ஆட்டோக்குள்ளே ஏறி வந்தால் கூட இறங்கும் போது ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமா போகணும் அப்படின்றது தான் என்னோட எதிர்பார்ப்பாக இருக்கும். நான் டெட்ல பேசுவேன்னு நல்லா கனவுல கூட நினைச்சது கிடையாது. ஹாய், ஐ ஸ்பீக் ஹிந்தி ஆர் இங்கிலீஷ்? ஐ ஸ்பீக் ஹிந்தி. ஐ வில் ட்ரை. ஓகே, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 डीके ओके ओके भैया भैया ब्रदर ब्रदर धन्यवाद धन्यवाद थैंक यू हिंदी ओवर. ओके,
తెలుగు కస్టమర్ ఏమన్నా తెలుగు అప్లై பண்ணுவேன். ధన్యవాదాలు మళ్ళీ. సో ఇది எதனால பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, நான் ஏதாவது ஆந்திரா, கேரளா, கர்நாடகா, டெல்லி பம்பை பெங்களூர் போகும்போது அங்கே ஒரு சின்ன டீ ஷாப்ல தமிழ் சாமான் என்னோட ஃபீல் எப்படி இருக்கும். ஸோ அந்த ஒரு ஃபீல் அந்த செகண்ட் அவங்களுக்கு அப்படின்ற ஒரு காரணத்தினால.
ஸோ டெல்லியில் பேசுறது அப்படின்றது டெல்லியில் பேசினேன். அதுக்கப்புறம் இங்கே சத்தியமங்கலம் இந்த மாதிரி 2 டெட் டாக்ஸ் கொடுத்துருக்கேன். அதுக்கப்புறம் ஒரு சில கார்பரேட் கம்பெனிஸில் போய் ட்ரைனிங்கும் கொடுத்துருக்கேன். ஸோ இதெல்லாம் என்னோட கஸ்டமர்ஸை திருப்திப்படுத்த வைக்கணும் அப்படின்ற ஒரே ஒரு ஃபோக்கஸ் தானே தவிர இதெல்லாம் நான் எதிர்பார்க்காத ஒரு விஷயங்கள். ஐ லவ் மை ஜாப். கஸ்டமர்ஸ் கடவுளுக்கு நிகரானவங்க. அவங்கள எப்படிலாம் திருப்திகரமாக வச்சுக்கணுன்ற ஒரே ஒரு விஷயத்த மட்டும்தான் நான் ஃபோக்கஸ் பண்ணேன். இப்போ நான் ரொம்ப சந்தோஷமாக இருக்கேன். இன்னும் நிறைய விஷயங்கள் பண்ணணும்னு ஆசைப்படுறேன்.
So what do you learn from this particular? Maybe we'll have a small discussion on that and I'll take it forward. So what you can learn from this, an uneducated auto driver who makes lakhs of rupees just by riding an auto? What made him so different from others? and learn while serving the people. Okay, very good. Thanks, Lakshmi, Narayan. Very good. How about others? I would like to have an interactive session. I don't want to run a lot of PPTs. That is why just pause and ask questions. Okay, it is creative way of delivering the services. Very good. So Lakshmi Narayan was talking about value addition. Thanks for that. Yeah, of course, he is providing a lot of value to the customers. Excellent. Okay, good. Satisfying, but I think even we have to go for a break-even analysis before implementing the strategy. I agree. Okay, yeah, because we need to balance with the customer satisfaction as well as with the cost, the image building. Excellent. Okay. Now, what he did, okay, there's a concept called customer satisfaction and customer delight. So, what is the difference between a satisfaction and delight? So, when it comes to satisfaction, the customer will approach an organization or a company or purchase a product to satisfy a specific need, right? Now, what do you make customer delight? So, customer delight is whether a product will be able to satisfy a customer which is beyond his expectations, where you can go beyond the expectations. It is like a under promise and over deliver. Now, how he was able to get a customer delight? Okay, basic product for this particular services is, I mean, the basic nature of the services is to take one person from one place to another safely. That is right? But he actually enhanced or added a lot of value, okay, through different aspects. So there is a concept called customer journey mapping. Okay, now what is a customer journey mapping? So customer journey mapping is a process where you try to understand each and every stages of a customer journey. For example, in this case, there are a lot of aspects, right? Apart from the core service of taking one person from one place to another, there are a lot of aspects are there, right? Starting from entering into an auto, sitting in an auto where the customer will get bored. Okay, so he will give a lot of information. He will entertain the riders with the tablets, magazines, and everything, right? And towards making the payment, okay, he do have a multiple options, okay, for making the payment option. So there is a concept called customer journey mapping. Okay, I'll just link with the data decision making. Now, customer journey mapping is a visualization technique that see the interaction customers have with the services or products. Okay, so this is how an online customer journey mapping works. Okay, so you have on the horizontal axis, you do have a different stages of journey, and under each stages of journey, there can be an activities, there can be feelings. Okay, from where we can identify whether the customers are happy, overall satisfied, or unhappy. We are trying to understand the customer experiences, and we are trying to understand the customer's expectations. Okay. So this is a detailed process, and under each stages, these different minute aspects are there, like what are the expectations, what are the goals of the customer under each stages. So this is called even earlier, okay, the concept is called customer touch points, where customer is trying to engage with a certain areas. Now the concept of holistic customer journey mapping came, okay, where each and minute aspects or stages of the customer journey overall determines the customer holistic experience. So if you want to give a customer holistic experience, if you want to delight the customer, you need to understand each and minute aspects of the customer journey. So that talks about understanding the customers, that talks about understanding the data, that talks about analyzing the data and getting insight about the data. So for preparing a customer journey map, you need to gather the data, you need to understand the customers, we need to understand the customer journey stages, goals, and touch points. And based on the customer's segment, okay, we need to develop a product. Okay, so that is how the customer journey mapping works. So even though he may be an uneducated, consciously or unconsciously, he understands the concept of customer journey map, okay, where he try to enhance the each stages of the rider's experience. So you might have heard the news, like in nearly 2 lakh kirana stores, okay, are closing, okay, because the arrival of new quick commerce players. You might have heard about these quick commerce brands, right? Septo, Blinkit, Dunzo, Big Basket, Instamart. So what is their core services? So they they challenge the existing models of e-commerce. They promise to the customer that, okay, they can deliver the goods and products within the 10 minutes of your order. Okay. So just imagine in places like Bangalore and Mumbai, where you do have a lot of traffic, and where you try to order a product and within 10 minutes it will reach in your home. Okay. So that involves a lot of planning, right? Okay. So you should understand which all segments, which all product the customer having the maximum demand. So based on that, okay, they need to manage the inventory. So these all require a lot of data. Now, why these companies? These are all, most of these are the startups, and these startups are built by the data scientists and data analysts, okay, who actually made a lot of differentiation or paradigm change in how e-commerce works. Okay, so even the big companies like Amazon and Flipkart is actually facing threats from these kind of e-commerce brands. Okay, and they are also trying to having a quick commerce segment. Now, if you talk about the future success, okay. Now earlier, if you observe the companies which were actually in the top 100 or a top Fortune 500 companies, the most of the companies were actually directly or indirectly related to the oil. Now, if you talk about the top companies in the world, okay, these companies are the companies which leverage on the data. So some of the examples of data-driven decision making and where they become very successful. Okay, these are, you may be very knowing, the Netflix. Okay, Netflix started their business model with the delivering DVDs to the different homes, right? And at that point of time, there is a leader called Blockbuster. Okay, after some time, Netflix understand that the customers changing trends and patterns. They understand the customers are using internet, and they try to create an OTT platforms, and they try to understand the customer in detail. So they create a personalized recommendation. They try to optimize the content based on the personalization, and they try to continuously improve, take the feedback from the customers and try to improve their platform. Okay. Now another thing is Amazon, right? Okay. So they have an amazing inventory management. They have a dynamic pricing. In certain times, okay, they offer the products at a cheaper prices. Okay, they have like a freedom offers or Independence Day offers where they try to maximize their sales, and they also give a personalized recommendations. Starbucks, okay, so Starbucks also try to leverage on personalized services. Okay, so they have loyalty program, they have a targeted marketing, and they have in-store optimization. Now, Walmart, okay, so Walmart is one of the leading retailer in the world. Now, why? How Walmart became a successful retailer in the world? So this Sam Walton, he's the founder of Walmart. He said that people think we got big by putting big stores in small towns, but really we got big by replacing inventory with information. So Walmart become bigger because of using analyzing the data. So they use a lot of predictive analytics for demand forecasting, okay, historical data, predictive modeling, and supply chain optimization. Uber, okay, so again, the real-time data analytics, they monitor the demand. So based on the demand, okay, the prices can be differentiated, and they ensure the highest rider satisfaction also. So data is everywhere. Okay, now how do you analyze this data and how do you leverage this data for your optimization of your products and services, and in order to generate more revenue for the company? So this is it's a small data. This is a small resource said that, okay, on 1 minute of every day, okay, this much amount of data is being generated. Now, when it comes to management, normally people feel that okay, the data is used by only by data scientists or machine learning or AI engineers. Even you working on management, okay, everywhere the data is being used. Okay, you for example, if you are working as an HR, okay, for example, I work with the learning and development, so I closely work with HR department. So we do have a lot of data. We do have a training data. We do have a joining data, the attrition data. So all these kind of data is being analyzed, okay, through different tools. So for example, we use Power BI extensively for analyzing the HR data. So there's something called sales and marketing, IT, customer analytics, management analytics, and supply chain analytics. So each domain, okay, the analytics being used extensively. Now, when it comes to data, there are four kinds. Maybe analytics can be different, can be classified into four importance analytics. So it starts with descriptive analytics, diagnostic analytics, predictive analytics, and prescriptive analytics. Okay, so if you plot in a graph, the vertical axis talks about the value of you derive from that particular analytics, and the horizontal axis talks about complexity. So what is descriptive analytics? So descriptive analytics talks about okay, different percentages. For example, in the case of Amazon, okay, if you use a descriptive analytics, you can see how many men, how many women, what is the age segment, and which is the time where people mostly purchase a product. So that gives you descriptive analytics. So what is diagnostic analytics? So diagnostic analytics try to understand the root cause of a problem, okay, or try to understand the root causes of a specific pattern. For example, okay, Amazon feel that okay, the maximum sales are coming on December. So you try to understand okay, why the maximum sales are coming from December. Maybe there can be some kind of patterns and insights can be derived. Okay. So basically for tools, okay, a lot of statistical tools like SPSS, okay, maybe Excel can be also used for diagnostic analytics. And some statistical techniques also being used. For example, you may use a correlation, you may use a regression. Now, what do you mean predictive analytics? So based on the past data, you are trying to predict the future. Maybe, for example, Amazon. So based on the past, maybe past few years of data on the month of December, okay, they can say that okay, this will be the demand coming on the month of December. So with that kind of information, they can be very proactive and they can make sure that okay, all the products are in their inventory and warehouses are very equipped to provide the delivery at the right time. So what is the prescriptive analytics? Anybody who can you share a thought about what is the prescriptive analytics? What is the prescriptive analytics? So in the case of prescriptive analytics, the machine will give you an idea, okay, or give you some kind of suggestion or recommendation to solve a potential problem. Okay. Now, for example, yeah, overcome challenges. Yeah, thanks. For example, if I want to go to a specific place, okay, I may take a Google Maps. So initially, Google Maps said this is the easiest route. But after some time, you may get a trigger from a Google Map say that, okay, this particular road is having a heavy traffic. So can you take an alternate route? So machine is actually giving you some kind of prompts so that, okay, you can take some kind of action. Yeah. So that is what we call as a prescriptive analytics. So now if you want to use a prescriptive analytics, normal Excel or SPSS doesn't will be suitable to do a prescriptive analytics. But you need to do a lot of programming languages like a Python or R, and you need to use a lot of mathematical modeling and statistical modeling to use a prescriptive analytics. So based on your job and based on the area you work, okay, you may have to use any kind of analytics. However, nobody, yeah, Raj, example, doctors give an advice prescription to a patient. Very good, thanks. So you cannot ignore any kind of analytics. For example, if you work as a maybe an entry level an HR executive, You may not be using a prescriptive analytics, you may not be using a predictive analytics, but you may have to use a descriptive analytics or diagnostic analytics. So that is critical for any kind of organization or any kind of roles we do. Now, another characteristics of data is there is something called 4 V's of data analytics. So one is volume, velocity, veracity, and the variety. Okay, so that is another complexity. So what do you mean volume? Okay, so the characteristics of volume is it needs to deal with the large data sets. Okay, so you talk about big data where large amount of data needs to be stored, that needs to be collected and sliced and stored in different servers. And whenever you want to analyze, okay, you need to bring back this data and you need to analyze this and get insight from this data. Scalability, okay, where when the data size become bigger and bigger, okay, you need to scale that data, okay. And again, okay, when you have a large big data, okay, you need to manage the storage also. So maybe I'll just give an example. Okay, a Boeing 787 Dreamliner will generate around 5 gigabytes of data per second. Just imagine the amount of data a pilot had to process it. Okay, 5 gigabytes of data from around 1.2 lakh sensors and systems. Okay, so that is the volume of data a person is going to encounter. Now, Facebook process petabytes of data daily, okay? And retailers like Amazon, especially on big days, okay, they are actually bombarded with a lot of transactions or bombarded with a lot of data on every second. So that is what we call as a volume of data. Now, what is the velocity? Okay, so velocity is handling high-speed data streams. Okay, so when you have a huge velocity of data, okay, the challenges is you need to process this data. Data must to be analyzed, and it needs to enable to a timely decision making, and there should be a low latency also. What is a low latency? The time between data arrival and generating insights. Okay, for example, okay, fraud detection. Okay, you need to immediately understand and identify the fraud. And streaming analytics. Okay, so there are a lot of technologies like Apache Kafka, Apache Spark, okay, which enables the continuous processing of high velocity data streams. So some example of high velocity data streams. So for example, high frequency trade, the stock trading, okay, which execute millions of transactions, buying and selling is processed in milliseconds. Okay. Twitter processes around 500 million tweets daily. So that is the velocity of the data. Amazon also analyze millions of real-time transactions. Variety. So that's another challenge for the most of the organization. You will have a variety of data. So what is the variety of data? So there's something called structured data and unstructured data. What do you mean structured data? So structured data is normally a numerical data. What do you mean unstructured data? Nowadays, the biggest challenge for the most of the organization is you are bombarded with a lot of unstructured data. So what is unstructured data? So unstructured data is the customer reviews. Okay, when you are actually not satisfied with a particular product, okay, you may go to an Amazon and try to write your reviews or try to vent out your feelings in social media like Twitter or Facebook, right? So if you talk about the challenges, currently most of the data is being produced in unstructured data. Now, it is very difficult for the companies to process this unstructured data. It talks about emotions of the customers. However, with use of technology, use of the programming language like Python and R, you can even analyze the unstructured data, and you can analyze the emotions of the people also. So it's also having a challenges of data integration and data information. Okay. So this is an example. Facebook, they have structured data, they have a user profile data, they have a semi-structured data, they have a metadata from posts, likes, and shares, and unstructured data, post images and videos. What do you mean veracity? So this is another challenge for the most of the organization. Okay, whether the data you receive from a particular source, whether it is a credible information. Okay. So data accuracy. Yeah, very good. data accuracy is very critical, data governance, data validation. So some of the examples of fake reviews, right? Okay. So now people are bombarded with a lot of people actually promote few people to write fake reviews and biased ratings. Okay, that can destroy the product reputation. And just imagine the platforms like Twitter and Facebook. Okay, so they got a lot of misleading posts, fake news, and other information spreading incorrect information. They are not able to handle that. Of course, they have a lot of risk management mechanisms to avoid such kind of misleading posts. Okay. For example, if you have a satellite data, which the data is being affected by any challenges in this our server or equipment manufacturing, it leads to the inaccuracy in weather predictions. So these are the impact of 4Vs. Business agility can be affected. Okay, the competitive advantage based on these 4 challenges. Okay, the competitive you can either leverage. I can get a better competitive advantage. You can also use it for an operational efficiency, and you can also build it for the customer centricity. So if you want to develop a product, there are 3 aspects are there. Okay, so one is the technological feasibility, and another one is a business desirability and customers acceptance. So this actually shows about different kind of metrics. Okay, I mean, I'm not going. We don't have much time, so there are a lot of metrics are there: engagement metrics, acquisition metrics, conversion metrics, retention metrics, monetization metrics, usage metrics, feedback metrics, error metrics, competitive metrics. So even in order to analyze the competition, also we need to use lot of tools, and you need to do a lot of analysis for analyzing the competition also. So there are tools like Harvey Ball analysis. Okay, and just since we have less time, okay, I just quickly want to end up with some few tools for data analysis, which is used extensively in organization. Now, one is comes to tools in data analysis. Okay, I just want to tell you. Okay, if earlier, okay, we used to do a lot of data analysis using Excel. Okay, now our brain is process. Okay, the images much faster than the words. Okay, 55% of our communication, impactful communication come from the written or from the visual communication. Okay, so based on that, okay, even if you don't understand the programming language, okay, there are a lot of data visualization tools are there which can be used by any people. For example, these are some of the tools which is prominent: Tableau, Looker, Soho, Sensei, IBM, Microsoft Power BI, the Clipfolio, SAP Analytics, Yellowfin. So you can generate beautiful dashboards. You can analyze data. You can use statistical analysis using tools like Power BI. Okay, and other kind of tools. Okay, so maybe I'll just show you one demo of a Power BI app. Okay, yeah. So maybe this is how Power BI. Okay, maybe there are a lot of things needs to be there. Okay, maybe you can include different kind of data processing. For example, you can analyze Excel. Okay, you can get data from SQL. You can get data from web. Okay, there are a lot of things are there. Okay, and there are a lot of processes involved. I don't. Since this is not a Power BI session, but you can analyze a lot of data. So this is one data which is being actually included, but we need of emotional decisions. We have seen an example of, one famous book called Daniel Kaufman, okay, which talks about system 1 thinking and system 2 thinking. Now we have seen few examples where how the companies leverage the data and how they become very successful by leveraging the data. So we have seen why data is very critical, what are the four V's of data, and we have seen different kind of analytics. And we also have seen, okay, if you want to analyze your product, success of a product, if you want to analyze the competitor, there are different kind of tools are there. And we have also have seen the power of data visualization tools. Okay, there are tools like Power BI, Tableau, okay, ClickFence. So these are the powerful tools where you can visualize the data and you can analyze the data also. And if you want to build a predictive modeling, okay, obviously we need to use a maybe a programming language like a Power, maybe R programming and Python programming to create a predictive modeling. So in short, okay, what I means, whatever role you are working, okay, whatever domain you are working, or whatever organization you are working, okay, so data is that earlier, computer literacy is considered as a literacy, right? Nowadays, we call it a data literacy. Anybody who works in any organization needs to be data literate. It can be even Excel, advanced Excel, or a Power BI. No need to know the programming language also. Okay, so that is some in short. So if you want to stay competitive in the current market, okay, please make sure that, okay, you have a proficiency in the data analysis. I think with that, okay, I will pause for a moment. If you have any questions, you can put on the chat, where I'll try to address that. Yeah, so yeah, there's a tool called Google Colab, which is an open source tool, okay, where you can analyze data. Power BI is a powerful tool. Okay, you can have a desktop version, but it have a limited features. Now, if you want to have a max more features, you need to have a paid version. So Google Colab is another platform where you can analyze a lot of data, which is available in our Google platforms. AI, okay, yeah. So I mean, AI is actually another. Even there are a lot of AI tools are there where you just upload your Excel sheet and you give a certain kind of prompts. Okay, so based on the prompts you give, okay, they will give an analyze. Okay, they will create a pivot table or they create a data visualization through these tools also. Only thing is, if you want to have a lot of customization, if you do a lot of analysis of the data, you may have to have a purchase a license version. But GenAI tools, you can analyze it. It actually does not take much time to analyze these kinds of data. But based on, you need to understand a lot of prompts to analyze these kind of data. I think there are no further questions. Okay, I mean, thanks for your patient listening. And yeah, in every website gives where Python is slower performance language, but every AI model is perform better and faster. Can you send this PPT? Yeah, maybe I'll just share the reference material through Edubex. And they are basically a leading provider in world-class education. Okay, thanks all for your patient listening, and have a great day. Yeah. So
Yeah, thank you so. Thank you for the wonderful webinar. I hope everyone got the knowledge about the decision making and also few knowledge about the data analytics and analysis. That's really wonderful for your time, and also the you explained very clearly. Due to the time, I think we have went a little bit fast, but overall the session was really good. So if anyone have a doubt now, you can ask Pradeep sir, so he can explain your doubts. Fine. So then I have shared a Google form in the chat box, so you can give your feedbacks. So how about the session, and you can rate the session also. Once it's done, yeah, so you can leave the session. Thanks, Raj.
thank you. Thanks.